Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Wandile. He is the king of listing, king of direct response marketing for real estate agents. As a coach and lead conversion expert, he helps agents attract, qualify, and book automatic appointments using cutting edge AI and digital technology. Welcome to the show, Wandile.
Thank you for having me, Mr. AJ.
Welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Bandile. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to discuss right now. We'll discuss about the mindset side of achieving success in real estate. We'll talk about AI powered real estate success also. All this in this backdrop, we'll have our conversation. But before that, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, so that the listeners know a bit more about who they are listening to.
So, my name is Wandile, and I work very closely with real estate agents. And my journey started about 7 years ago. I had felt like I was sold a dream because from a very young age, I was always told you need to, in order for you to live a good life, you need to go to school and then go to college. And after getting your college degree, you need to find yourself a loving partner, get yourself a job, get yourself a child, and live the here in South Africa, what we call the South African dream. And that's exactly what I did up until I realized I ticked all boxes except for the one of getting a job. So long story short, I had to work my butt off trying to put food onto the table. And that's how I discovered AI and how to get clients utilizing AI. I was currently at that time trying to find businesses, cold calling, and I hated that entire process. So I was always on my device every single day. How do I get clients without cold calling? And yeah, that's how I found AI by a mentor of mine, Mr. Sam Ovens. And yeah, I've never looked back ever since then.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as real estate agent, I don't know how the situation is, but is it an easy job? Is it a tough job, especially in the times of artificial intelligence? Because like in every service industry, everyone
Mhm.
looks needs clients, and you have lead generation, all those things associated with it. So for real estate agents, how easy or how difficult this work is at the moment? How do you put it?
That is an interesting question indeed. I think getting clients across for every business comes with its challenges because we're dealing with human nature at the end of the day, right? We need to get people to know, like, and trust you, build a relationship before they end up giving you their business. But if we have to look at it from a real estate side, the thing about real estate is that with real estate agents, they're essentially helping buyers and sellers either sell their house or helping buyers find their dream home. And a house isn't like, for example, selling a phone, right? It's one of their biggest, if not their greatest investments ever. So that's where psychology needs to come into play. You need to build trust. You need to add value and showcase why you're different, but ultimately giving them that guidance and helping them journey throughout that entire process, because it is a big investment and an emotional one for them.
Right. Obviously, guidance is required because they may be, experts in their own field, but obviously the real estate is a different business. It is the same with others. You will not know how a doctor works. A doctor will not know how your business works, and that is where a lot of, like, the doctor guides you. A real estate also agent has to guide anyone who comes to them, and as long as they are doing it correctly with right intention, ethically, then you can have a, say, a client and a friend forever. So how do then, what is the best way to get clients into race time? Because you have to make the sale. You can't keep on guiding forever. Many a times clients also get guided by one person and then go to those people who will misguide them because they talk much more, smoothly. They are much more smooth talkers. So help us understand then, how do you balance these two sides of things, to guide as well as to get them to give you their business?
Oh, 100%. And I always like to say that you need to understand your client temperature. What I always like to say is that there's three types of leads. There's the super hot leads where you could just sneeze and that lead is ready to go with you, right? Then there's a type of lead where, for example, they need to do a little bit of research before they make that purchasing decision. Again, if you're purchasing a house or if you're selling your house, it's not something that you wake up one day and you decide to do or take that decision. It takes rigorous research and you're trying to figure out whether right now is the best time or not. And then you're going to find those types of leads where, for example, they're not ready yet, right? They're not even in the space of whether they're ready to buy or sell. Maybe they can't even afford it. So those are the type of leads where I call them nurture leads. And how I always like to guide my clients is that you want to be focusing a little bit more on those who are in the research phase, as well as those who are ready to go right now. And the reason why is because most agents, and I can tell you now, 99% of real estate agents focus on the type of clients who are ready to move forward immediately. And I understand. I think it makes a lot of sense. But the problem is, if you have the entire industry focusing on a very small portion of people who are ready to move forward immediately, what happens? That's where they bounce around different clients. Or the clients don't know who to choose. So I always like to say that the blue ocean is in the market where they're in the research phase because they need that information. They are going to make that decision. It will happen within, whether it's 3 months or 6 months. Some people might just need the right information before they move forward, but they will need that. The only thing that's causing that blockage for them to actually move forward is that information. And I always like to tell my clients that you have that information, but you're not sharing it. So the goal is to provide guidance and speaking towards the conversations that they have in their mind. So engaging in the conversation that a seller or buyer already has in their mind. So for example, let's say you have a seller that's thinking about selling, but maybe they're worried about the interest rates. I always like to recommend to my clients, add a little bit of value, create video content, maybe have an ebook that provides a solution to that problem. Once you've provided that solution to that problem, then the call to action should be having and engaging in a conversation where you can really further ask them further questions to get an idea in terms of, are they ready to sell? If they are ready to sell, then we can guide them throughout the process of what would be the next best possible steps to get them to where they need to be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So let's understand, you talk a bit about mindset side of achieving success in real estate.
Mhm.
Uh, why mindset? I thought it's more about, the home buying is a lot about the heart from the buyer side. And in your side, it is about what is available and to give them the best option. Does your own mind come in between? Help us understand the mindset side of achieving success in real estate, especially for real estate brokers.
That's a great question, AJ, and it's something that I've been tackling for the past 7 years, working with so many real estate agents. Because just as you were saying, right, this is sort of like it's more of a barter. Like okay, cool. Look, I'm providing the service, and you in exchange would give me the business, right? And I, for the longest time, also thought the same thing as well. But after working with over 500 plus agents, I saw there was a massive distinction between the top agents versus those who weren't doing very well. And one of the big things I noticed that the top agents were very big on investing in themselves. They were very big on personal development. They were very big on mastering themselves first before they go and master their clients. And what I noticed is that, and my mentor always used to tell me this, is that Wandile, you don't have business problems, you have personal problems that's reflecting in the business. He also likes to say that life is not a window, it's a mirror. So your business is a direct reflection of who you are. So if you're someone who you look in the mirror, you're not proud of yourself, you're not disciplined, you don't trust yourself, that energy and how you carry yourself automatically is going to reflect within the buyer or the seller, thus them giving them that reason for them not to trust you. Because I've had many of my clients who will go and approach one of the top agents and they're like, what is your secret? And the top agent will tell them, this is what I'm doing. And then they realize that, oh, but it's simple. And then I was tell to my clients that, yes, the reason why is because it's not what, it's who, right? It's who you are as a person. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you build your mindset and your mentality. And how do you view yourself before you go and see the client? If the client can see that you're not confident, you don't trust yourself, you're always saying, I think, or maybe, that already in and of itself is subtly and subconsciously telling that client that this is someone who is not sure of themselves. And I'm pretty sure, Mr. AJ, if you're working with a business, you want the best of the very best. We want the best service. If you're going to go to a doctor, we want to work with the best doctor when it comes to healthcare. If we're buying food, we want the best quality product of food. But Do you want to work with an average person? I don't think we want to work with an average person. We want to work with the very best. And many average agents don't see that. So I help them understand that if you want to work with the very best, you also need to view yourself as the best. And that is essentially where the reflection comes into play when it comes to mindset and the business side.
Right, right. Wandile, I want to understand then, if one talks about, you talked about, be the best, look the best, feel the best.
Mhm.
Now, what is the difference between those glib talkers, smooth talkers, and who are actually the best? Because they will look the most shiny, and how do you differentiate them? For the buyer, they will look very shiny. They can see them
Yes.
from far off, and it's very difficult to see through them.
Oh, 100%. And I think in the world that we're living in right now, right, anyone can just look the best and act the part. But for me, I always like to say action number one is literally one of the things that I look into. So, for example, you need to hold yourself accountable. Hence why I tell all of my clients that you need to get online and not just only add value, but also showcase in terms of who you are as a person. What are the things that you do on a day-to-day basis? So to give you a little bit of context with me, anyone who follows me on Instagram, king.listing, I wake up every single day between 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. And then I always post a quote in terms of whatever I was reading on that day. Then I work out. After working out, I add a little bit of value and I walk through people in terms of what does my day-to-day look like. The reason why I do that is because I like to lead with action. I don't like to talk much. I want to lead with action. The reason why is because I want my clients to subconsciously see that, hey, this guy wakes up early every single day. This guy puts himself first. This guy feeds his cup. This guy is out here trying to do everything that he can to help and assist us. And he's not talking about it, but he's showing it through his actions. So those are all the things that I like to showcase to my clients, that your clients will be able to see that when they look at you. I mean, it's hard to act like you're disciplined, but you can actually see it. Right? If you have a good body, that already says that you're someone that's disciplined. If you look good, if you smell good, all those things are contributions of who you are by the actions that you take. So just to answer your question, I always like to tell my clients, you need to walk the part. Clients need to see that you are this person. And I think we can all tell. It's easy to pretend for about a month or two. But when you are that person forever, that energy, there's just something about you that people can feel. It's sort of like your energy is pulsating, especially when you're around someone that, okay, this is someone who is that person.
Absolutely. If you're authentic, you don't need to make an effort to remember anything. It's all there because the way you are. For a
Yeah.
person who lies, they have to remember so much. Sometimes you give yourself away by just being not yourself. Be that as it may, tell us a bit about your king listing. What is this king listing all about?
So King listing for me, honestly speaking, I was trying to find an Instagram name and I struggled to find one. And I was like, okay, what would be something that would be polarizing and also get real estate agents' attention? And I was like, King listing, right? I want real estate agents to view me as like, who is this guy who has the balls and the audacity to call himself a king of listings? But again, I didn't just call myself that for the sake of it, but it's because I've been helping thousands of real estate agents get listings. Hence why I'm viewing myself as a king of getting listings at the end of the day. So ultimately, it was because I struggled to find a name. But once I thought of the name King Listing, I was like, actually, it is fitting. And it's beautiful just to see, because now what happens with many real estate agents is that when they see my ads, when they see my content, they first like, who the hell is this guy? Then they watch my content and they're like, oh, okay, I understand now. So that's how the name came about.
Wonderful. It's a nice name, and I'm sure people need to brand themselves well. And as long as you can patch your authenticity around it, on it, that's yours. Nobody can stop you being that. And that works in so many places. It has worked in several places. Now coming to, you talk about winning clients even before they meet you. How can a real estate agent do that? Is it that easy or is it very difficult?
In this industry, it's very easy to win because every single real estate agent looks the same, they talk the same, they walk the same, everything that they do. It's sort of like there was one giant memo and was given to every single real estate agent. So it's sort of like, in a sense, they're all robotic and they all say the same thing. So if you as a real estate agent want to stand out, all you just have to do is do what everyone else is not doing. And what I've noticed, many real estate agents aren't providing the type of value that sellers and buyers are craving and are hungry for. If anything, they just post listings every single day on social media. And I don't know if you follow any real estate agents, but it gets really annoying just to always see listings. It's like, teach me something about how this interest rate might impact the value of my home. Teach me something that I'll be able to learn that I can take home. But many of them weren't taught that way. So the best way to really win before you actually see the client is one thing that I always like to tell my clients, and this is a story I tell my clients just to really help solidify the point, is that I realized when I was younger, if I had a date, let's say I had a date with a potential lady, and let's say, for example, we were about to meet in 2 weeks' time, if I didn't call her, or if I didn't check in on her, if I didn't text her during that 2 week period, when we would meet on the date, it'll be very hard or a bit awkward. It's hard for me maybe to win her over to be my girlfriend. But then if, for example, I met someone and we're about to meet in the next 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks, I spend time talking to her, getting to know her, showing her in terms of who I am, us just having a little bit of, how do I say, rapport building. I've noticed that whenever we would meet in person, it was a lot easier because then there's no more awkwardness. We've got that sense of a relationship going on. And we've also weeded each other out to a point where it's like, okay, cool. I've spoken to you over the phone. You seem like a decent guy. Now let me meet you in person. So it's the same process when it comes to winning clients before you even meet them. It's about how can you showcase, okay, this is who I am. This is essentially what I want to do to help you, and showcasing that authenticity and being genuine. What we typically like to do is that when a client then books an appointment with our client, is that we've got pre-made ebooks that have testimonials in those ebooks where they can click on it, they can watch videos. We also add value. So we're only providing the type of information that they're already thinking about in their head. Because at the end of the day, the only way you're going to get someone to know, like, and trust you is if they feel that you understand them and you understand their pain points and whatever they're going through. So we're providing and we're that ebook by adding in the value and then backing it up with the testimonials. So by the time that they meet the agent, this happens every single time. They always tell the agent, oh, wow, like, I've been watching your content, I've been seeing your ebooks, and I feel like, it's amazing to meet you in person. Now it feels like the agent is sort of like a celebrity to that seller or that buyer, just purely because they've pre-programmed them already to know, like, and trust them before they met them.
Right, right. So you talk about authenticity, and at the same time, you also talk about ethically brainwashing them to be your buyer. So how do you do that?
I know it sounds oxymoronic, like what? Ethically brainwashing and then being authentic. And I'm just gonna go back in terms of, for me, what I always like to say is that we're now living in a society where we are all being brainwashed some way, shape, or form. All right. Just because we're constantly on social media, there's the news, and every person or every business has their own agenda. Now, for me, from an ethical brainwashing perspective, is how can we ethically help buyers and sellers? How can we educate them in a way that they have the right information, just purely because they could go watch the news and the news could be telling them buying or selling right now is a bad idea. You shouldn't be doing that. Real estate is terrible. And they want to be pushing their own agenda. So they now brainwashing the seller, the buyer, not to buy a house. But the real estate agent is the one who's the expert. They know exactly if whether right now is the best time to do it or not. So what I like to tell my clients is that create content out there that is genuine, where you are ethically trying to just help them make the best decision. And if it means that we need to brainwash them in a sense, right, but it's from an integrity standpoint, which is going to help them make the right decision, then that is the best way to do it, by doing it through social media. Because when we're thinking about it, most people don't realize is that I'm very big on hypnosis. I'm not an expert at all, but I'm so fascinated by it, is that how are we able to do things out of our will, in a sense, by someone else? By just someone else giving us commands and prompts. And from what I learned is that they first distract you so that they can release your conscious mind. And then when your subconscious mind is wide open, where you're suggestible, that is where if they say, hey, you need to pretend that you're a monkey for the next 5 minutes. And if you're suggestible, you pretend as if you're a monkey. So what I realized when I did my research is that whenever we're scrolling down on our phones, we are in suggestible states because it's a habit. We're just mindlessly scrolling. So what people don't realize is that whenever they're mindlessly scrolling and they find something that interests them, that is how they become suggestible. So I always like to recommend to my clients, when your clients are in suggestible state, whenever they're scrolling on social media, create the right value that's going to get their attention and give them that aha moment that, oh my God, I didn't know right now is the best time for me to buy or sell. Let me find out more from this agent. And that is how we ethically brainwash people to make the right decisions to either buy or sell.
Absolutely. There is much to learn from you, Wandile, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to understand. One last thing I want to understand about the role of artificial intelligence here. You talk about, AI powered real estate success. How does AI come here?
So AI comes into play more from the perspective of, many people look at AI as this new thing that's just popped up, ChatGPT, and there's obviously these amazing AI tools now that are there to help you maybe create a social media post or images, etc., etc. But from my understanding, and when I came across it, I think from around 2017 or so, is many people don't realize that social media in and of itself is AI. It's powered by AI, mainly because if I had to maybe look at your Instagram, or if you maybe had to look at my social media, we can instantly tell what our interest. And that was all purely because the AI, the artificial intelligent robot over there, is trying to curate what you like so that it can keep you there for as long as possible. So I always like to say that it knows us better than we know ourselves. Hence why sometimes if you're thinking about something, boom, all of a sudden you see an ad about it. You see an ad about it. I won't get into how they actually track what we think and what we look into, but that is how AI comes into play. So what we always like to recommend to our clients is that your buyers and sellers, when they're in research mode, they're always on their phones trying to find the right answers. All right, they're Googling it, they're looking at content on social media that is resonant with them. So we want to take advantage of that artificial intelligence tool. Reason why is because it knows your buyer and seller's needs. So all we just have to do is make sure that we prompt that AI to get in front of the right buyers and sellers, because then it just makes our lives a lot easier. We don't have to cold call and chase after a lead that isn't interested in buying or selling, but we're now popping up on the phone of a buyer or seller who's ready to either buy or sell, or they're thinking of buying and selling. So it's, to them, it seems like, oh my gosh, wow, it seems like this is divine intervention. But no, it was AI. We just utilized AI to pop up onto your phone where it seems like the right timing, and then we can take the deal moving forward from there.
Absolutely. As I said, there is much to learn and understand about the real estate business from you, Wandile, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn from you, get your help from your king listing, and learn from all the authenticity that you have. What's the best way for them to do so?
Best way to reach me is on Instagram, king.listing, as you can see over there. I also do have a free community. It's on School. It's called the Digital Agent Club. So if you just go on to www.school.com/the Digital Agent Club, and there, that's where it's a free community. I basically go live once a week, every Wednesday, asking any questions. I also do provide a free AI fundamentals training course, where if you want to learn how to utilize AI to attract buyers or sellers towards your business, then you can go and check that out as well.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.